Good morning, students. Welcome to the 6th class of biology on the chapter Cell, Fundamental Unit of Life. In today's class, we are going to talk about two important organelles, mitochondria and plastid. So first, we talk about mitochondria. In this slide, you can see the diagram of mitochondria. The mitochondria, they are actually visible only under a light microscope as small spheres, or we can say simply short dots distributed in the cytoplasm. However, their detailed structure has been revealed only by the electron microscope. The mitochondria are found in all aerobic eukaryotic cells. They are lacking in anaerobic protozoans, mature mammalian RBC, and in prokaryotes. The mitochondria are usually sausage-shaped, but they may be spherical, oval, cylindrical, filamentous, or even branched. Each mitochondria is bounded by a double membrane envelope. The outer membrane is smooth and freely permeable to small molecules and medium-sized molecules and ions. The inner membrane is selectively permeable and is thrown into numerous small, you can see, folds to increase its area several times. These folds are called as cristae. The cristae are arranged in characteristic patterns in different cells, and they bear ATP generating assemblies called oxysomes or elementary particles. The two membranes of the mitochondrion are separated by a narrow space, as you can see over here, and that space is known as intermembrane space or outer chamber. It contains a clear, homogeneous fluid. The space between the cristae is called as the inner chamber. These spaces are called as the inner chamber. It is filled with a dense fluid called the mitochondrial matrix. The matrix contains respiratory enzymes, lipids, some ribosomes, RNA, a circular DNA, and certain ions. Now in this figure, you can see in another view. This picture is taken from another view, and here you can see from the top how the mitochondria looks like. The inner membrane, the outer membrane, the cristae looks like this, and then the matrix inside. And when it is cut, then it looks like this. When it is as a whole, then this is the picture. So again, here this is another view where the outer membrane, inner membrane, cristae, and the matrix is very clearly visible. So we all know that mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. So the functions, let us talk about the functions of mitochondria. What all work does mitochondria do in the cell? Mitochondria are the main seat for cellular respiration. They use molecular oxygen and bring about stepwise oxidation of foodstuffs, that is carbohydrates or fats that are present in the cells, and they oxidize the food to carbon dioxide and water. Oxidation of food releases energy which is temporarily stored to form high energy molecules, what is called as the ATP. ATP is used to bring about energy requiring activities of the cell. On this account, the mitochondria are often described as the powerhouses or the storage batteries of the cell. And ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. Some important energy requiring activities of the cell include synthesis of chemical compounds like your carbohydrates, proteins, fats, DNA replication, then active transport of materials against the concentration gradient across the plasma membrane, then mechanical work like contraction of the muscles for the different kinds of movement and locomotion, movement of cilia, flagella, conduction of nerve impulse, production of heat. In all these activities which I have mentioned, lot of energy is spent by the body. So from where this energy comes? It comes from the ATP, which is your energy currency of the cell. And how this ATP has got energy? It has got energy from the powerhouse, that is the mitochondria, where it is stored. So mitochondria are also capable of self-duplication, that is they can replicate. They have DNA, they have RNA, ribosomes and enzymes. So they are able to synthesize some of their own proteins. Hence, they are also known as semi-autonomous organelles of the cell. So, once again, we just revise. How does the mitochondria look like? It looks like rod-shaped cell organelles and found in the aerobic eukaryotes, which take part in the Krebs cycle of respiration process. They are commonly called as the powerhouse of the cell because they contain enzymes necessary for the total oxidation of food with the release of the end products, carbon dioxide and water. And the high amount of energy that is released is stored in the form of ATP. Structurally, you have seen it is bounded by two membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. Outer membrane is smooth and the inner membrane is folded inwards to form what is called as the cristae. Cristae contains oxysomes that are partially embedded in the inner matrix. And mitochondria is known as the semi-autonomous organelle of the plant body. Now let us talk about another organelle which is present only in plant cell, that is the plastid. Plastids are the cytoplasmic organelles which are visible under the light microscope. However, their detailed structure can be seen only under electron microscope. These organelles are found in plant cells but are absent in animal cells. The plastids of higher plants exist in a variety of forms and have a wide range of structure and function. Basically, they can be categorized into two broad categories, that is your chromoplasts and the leucoplasts. The chromoplasts are the colored plastids which occur in the cells that are exposed to sunlight. This has got two subtypes, the non-green chromoplasms and the green chromoplasts. The chromoplasts having light-absorbing green pigment chlorophyll are known as chloroplasts or the green plastids. Once again, the chromoplasts having light-absorbing green pigment called chlorophyll are called as chloroplasts or the green plastids. These are commonly present in the leaf cells of the most of the higher plants and certain green algae. The non-green chromoplasts containing other colored pigments may be your red, orange or yellow due to the presence of carotenoids are found in certain algae and in flowers, fruits and some of the roots of higher plants. Then we talk about the second variety of plastids, that is your leucoplasts. These leucoplasts are colorless plastids and they occur in the cells that are not exposed to sunlight. So leucoplasts can be of three types depending upon the products that they store. It can be amyloplasts if they store starch. It can be aleuroplasts if they store protein, and they can be elioplasts if they store oil. They are mostly present in the storage cells of roots and underground stems. Now let us talk a little bit about the structure, how the chloroplast looks. The chloroplasts of higher plants are usually spherical or ovoid or discoidal and may be lens-shaped as well. Each chloroplast is a vesicle bounded by double membrane envelope and filled with a fluid matrix like the mitochondria. So the outer membrane is smooth and freely permeable to small molecules. The inner membrane is, however, selectively permeable. The inner membrane is selectively permeable. The outer membrane is freely permeable. So the inner membrane is selectively permeable, it has carrier proteins that control the passage of the molecules, and it is greatly folded. But the infolds become free in the mature chloroplast to lie as a lamellae in the matrix. Plastids are large cell organelles found only in plant cells, which are specialized to synthesize and store organic substances. Plastids are classified on the basis of the pigment that is present inside them. That is, they can be colorless plastids, what we call as the leucoplasts, or the colored plastids, which is the chromoplast, and chromoplast can be green or non-green plastid. So here is a comparison between the two types of plastids. Leucoplasts are colorless, cylindrical to round in shape, and found in the unexposed parts of the plant body. They take part in storage of food and can change to other types of plastids. Whereas chromoplasts are non-green plastids, that is they can be brown or reddish in color, irregular in shape, and they are present both in the exposed or the unexposed parts of the plant body, and they do not store food and they provide coloration to the plant organs. Now, chromoplasts, provide color to the fruits, flowers, and also attract animals to help in pollination and fruit dispersal. Leucoplasts take part in the storage of proteins, starch, and oil. Chloroplasts, that is the chromoplasts, if they contain the green chlorophyll pigment, then they are known as chloroplasts. And chloroplasts trap solar energy to manufacture food through the process called photosynthesis. Now we all know that oxygen is being consumed in the process of combustion and respiration, and carbon dioxide is produced in both these processes. So chloroplasts are the ones which maintain the balance of the two gases by absorbing carbon dioxide and oxygen in photosynthesis. Now, if we talk about the functions of the plastids in totality, then chromoplasts provide color to the fruits and flowers and attract the animals to help in pollination and fruit dispersal. Leucoplasts take part in storage of protein, starch, and oil. Chloroplasts trap solar energy to manufacture food through photosynthesis. Oxygen is being consumed, you all know, in both the processes that is combustion and respiration. And in both of them, carbon dioxide is produced as a byproduct. So it is the chloroplasts that maintain the balance of the two gases in the environment by absorbing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen in the process of photosynthesis. In this way, they maintain the balance of the oxygen and carbon dioxide in nature. So chloroplasts are very much important for the environmental balance. Now here in this slide you can see how the chloroplast looks from the electron microscope. In this slide we are going to talk about chloroplast, which is called as the kitchen of the cell. So chloroplast is actually bounded by two membranes, and the inside of the chloroplast is clearly marked into a colorless matrix, what is called as the stroma, and the membranous system, what is called as the granum. The granum consists of stacks of membrane bounded flattened sacs called as the thylakoids. Stroma contains all the enzymes for the dark reaction. Then it contains DNA, RNA and ribosomes. So because of the presence of DNA, RNA and ribosomes, chloroplasts are also known as the semi-autonomous cell organelles. So that makes the plastids the semi-autonomous cell organelle. Here you can see the stroma. This is the cytoplasmic part inside. These are the thylakoids, which are the stacks of coins arranged one on top of another. The outer membrane, the inner membrane. And this is your granum. So this is the internal structure of the chloroplast. So we have talked today about two organelles, that is your mitochondria and plastid. Thank you.